Let's dive straight in. Struck by train.
August 12, 2017.
Kiev, Ukraine. That morning,
10:15 a.m.
Ivan Vlog_Kiev Petrov set out to film content near railroad tracks. He wanted edgy shots, trains, rails, dramatic frames. He carried a handheld gimbal and a small mirror to reflect the train. He posted on Instagram story at
10:22.
promising wild footage coming soon. He walked close to the edge of the tracks, about 1.5 meters from rail. He focused on his phone's frame, not on passing trains.
At 10:30 a.m.,
A northbound passenger train approached at 90 kilometers per hour, 56 mph. It jingled a warning whistle as it neared a switch just 200 meters ahead. Ivan didn't hear or see it. He kept filming.
at 10 hours 31 minutes and 12 seconds,
The train's horn blasted, 700 meters ahead.
at 10 hours 31 minutes and 15 seconds,
The engineer applied emergency brakes. Speed dropped from 90 to 60 in 3 seconds. But too late.
at 10 hours 31 minutes and 17 seconds,
Ivan was struck. The train clipped him, severing one leg and throwing him 4 meters. Crew slammed to a stop at
10 hours 31 minutes and 25 seconds.
Track inspectors rushed in. They found his camera gear, mirror shards, phone smashed. He was lying in shock, bleeding heavily. He was not conscious. An ambulance arrived by
10:40. At 11:03,
paramedics pronounced him dead. The autopsy showed massive head trauma and internal hemorrhaging. His final Instagram story remained, wait for it, wild shot. That clip was uploaded later posthumously by family.
Falls during live.
November 3, 2018. Tokyo, Japan. At 8:50 p.m.,
Ryo's Skylift Tanaka went to rooftop of a 14-story building to livestream. He announced big jump challenge in 30 minutes. He gathered 400 live viewers in chat.
by 9:05 p.m.,
He positioned his camera at the edge, the Tokyo skyline behind him. He measured the drop, about 45 meters to concrete. He joked with chat, edge of life guys.
at 9:12,
He declared countdown from 3. He'd set up a shaky rope harness system he claimed would break his fall. He clipped a thin tether to his waist. Chat warned don't jump. He replied, trust me.
at 9 hours 14 minutes and 3 seconds,
He jumped. The tether snapped immediately. It was too weak. He plummeted straight down. He struck the concrete at 25 m/s, about 90 kilometers per hour. His live stream cut abruptly. Security guards from a nearby building saw the fall. They called police.
at 9:15,
They entered the area and found his body on the ground. Crushed skull, spine broken. His phone and camera were smashed next to him. The hospital confirmed death at arrival.
9:30 p.m.,
The autopsy revealed immediate death due to neck fracture and brain trauma. The chat log froze. Viewers scrambled in horror.
Underground tunnel.
June 17, 2015.
Paris Catacombs, France.
At 11 p.m.,
Marie Catacomb girl Dubois and 2 friends entered sealed catacomb tunnels beneath Paris. She live-streamed via a helmet camera. Her goal, reach a closed-off lost chamber.
at 11:10,
They passed through a narrow 0.8-meter wide tunnel, squeezing through debris piles.
at 11:25,
They arrived at a locked iron gate. Marie filmed the rusted bars. She claimed she cut through them. She slipped in, the others followed.
at 11:40,
Deep past map zones, the air got stale. CO2 levels rose, oxygen dropped. Her camera's mic recorded labored breathing. She paused. Her flashlight dimmed from 1,000 lumens to 400.
at 11:55,
One friend began coughing violently. The other called Marie's name. She hadn't responded. The camera showed her leaning over, eyes closed. Seconds later, she slumped forward. Her mic caught gurgling sounds. They tried to revive her, CPR, fresh air. But no response. They dragged her back slowly, chest tight.
by 12:30 a.m.,
They reached main tunnel. They dashed back to exit. They called emergency at
12:45,
paramedics arrived at
1:05 a.m.,
Marie was declared dead. The autopsy said asphyxiation, high CO2 inhaled, and oxygen starvation in confined space. Her videos after were posted by her family. Helmet cam footage halted mid-scene.
Mauled by bear.
March 9, 2020.
Tomsk region, Siberia.
At 6 a.m.,
Nikolai Wild North Ivanov, 29, left his cabin with cameras and an unloaded rifle. His plan was simple: film a close encounter with a brown bear for his channel.
By 6:25,
He reached a clearing 3 kilometers into the forest. He set up a tripod and posted a clip, "Bear Country. No fear." Followers warned him to back off, but he stayed.
at 6:30,
A 300-kilogram bear stepped out of the treeline. Nikolai crouched, filming at barely 10 meters away. For half a minute, the animal stared. Then it charged.
at 6:31,
He screamed and waved his arms, but the rifle remained unused. The bear covered the distance in seconds. His camera toppled, still recording blurred trees and muffled cries. Hikers nearby heard commotion and called rangers.
at 7:30,
They arrived to find the bear gone and Nikolai dead in the clearing. His body showed massive trauma and blood loss. His gear was scattered, tripod crushed, phone cracked.
Parkour.
October 22nd, 2019. Moscow, Russia.
at 3 p.m.,
Sergei Rooftop King Morozov, a 23-year-old Instagram parkour star, climbed onto the roof of a 20-story apartment block in the city's North District. Known for risky rooftop jumps, he announced to viewers that today's stunt would be his biggest yet: a 6-meter leap across open air to the neighboring building.
at 3:08,
He strapped on his GoPro, checked the distance twice, and paced out his starting run. Friends filmed from the opposite side, yelling encouragement. Sergei smirked, raised a fist, and said, "One clean shot, no mistakes."
at 3:12,
He sprinted and launched himself off the roof edge. For a split second, it looked possible, but his feet struck short of the far ledge. His chest slammed the wall. His fingers clawed for grip, but slid. He fell 60 meters, flipping as he dropped. Residents on the street below heard the impact and screamed. Someone called emergency immediately.
by 3:20,
Paramedics reached the scene, but his injuries were catastrophic. They declared him dead on sight. Police later cleared the roof and blocked access with new fencing.
Cave diver.
May 5, 2014. Wakulla Springs, Florida.
at 2 p.m.,
Jake Deep Dive Vlogs Harrison, a 27-year-old cave diver and YouTuber, entered one of Florida's deepest underwater cave systems. Known for risky solo dives, he promised viewers the deepest dive yet, with 2 oxygen tanks, helmet lights, and a mounted GoPro.
by 2:30,
He had descended more than 90 feet, filming tight limestone passages. His narration sounded calm.
at 2:40,
His oxygen alarm beeped in the background. Instead of turning back, he pressed forward into a narrow side tunnel.
at 2:47,
His camera showed rising bubbles and heavy breathing. His flashlight beam shook across rock walls. He was lost.
at 2:55,
He tried to turn, but the tunnel narrowed. His fins scraped limestone. His breathing grew frantic.
at 3 o'clock,
The footage darkened. The GoPro recorded only muffled sounds and silence. When Harrison failed to resurface, staff notified emergency divers.
at 5:30,
2 recovery divers found him wedged inside the side shaft, tanks empty, mask flooded. They pulled him out after a difficult extraction. Paramedics on shore confirmed death by drowning. His final recording was reviewed, but never released to the public.
Chinese ghost hunter.
December 15, 2016. Guangzhou, China.
at 1:15 a.m.,
Li Ghostled Wei, a 21-year-old live streamer, climbed through a broken fence into an abandoned power station on the edge of the city. He was streaming to more than 8,000 viewers, promising them real ghost footage from the dark plant. With only a flashlight in one hand and his phone in the other, he walked across rusted catwalks, narrating in a shaky voice.
at 1:30,
He reached a steel platform above the old generator hall. Wires snaked across the floor, some still connected to forgotten circuits. His audience spammed the chat with warnings, but he laughed them off. He leaned toward the camera. "See? No ghosts yet. Just junk."
at 1:33,
His foot slipped onto a metal plate covering live cables. A loud crack exploded through the feed. Sparks shot into frame. His phone jerked sideways as he convulsed. The screen went white, then black. The stream cut out mid-scream. Viewers flooded local police lines with frantic calls. Fire crews arrived around
2 a.m.,
They cut power to the site and searched the hall. They found Lee lying next to the exposed wires, badly burned. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
Water.
July 1st, 2018. Bali, Indonesia.
At 11:15 a.m.,
Chris Skyshots Wilson, a 25-year-old travel vlogger, launched a parasailing ride off the crowded beaches of Bali. He strapped a GoPro to his helmet and set a drone to follow him overhead, hoping to capture sweeping aerial shots for his next video. Friends filmed from shore as the parachute lifted him into the sky. For the first 5 minutes, the flight looked smooth. He waved at the drone, shouting, "This is insane footage." The parasail reached nearly 40 meters above the surf. Tourists below watched and pointed at the camera buzzing above him.
at 11:22,
The tow rope suddenly snapped. The parasail jerked sideways, collapsing in the wind. Chris tumbled helplessly, still strapped to the harness. His GoPro recorded waves rushing closer before cutting underwater. On the beach, screams rang out. Lifeguards sprinted to launch rescue boats. For nearly 20 minutes, they searched the choppy water.
at 11:40,
They spotted the floating parachute and pulled Chris aboard. He was face down, unresponsive, and could not be revived. Doctors at the nearest hospital declared him dead on arrival, citing drowning as the cause. His drone footage was later recovered from the shore.
Elevator shaft.
January 27, 2013. Detroit, USA.
at 9 p.m.,
Derek Decayzone Miller, a 30-year-old urban explorer, entered a decaying hotel with 2 friends. He filmed the dark hallways with a headlamp, pointing out peeling wallpaper and broken furniture. His narration was excited, warning his viewers, "This place is a death trap."
at 9:20,
The group reached the top floor. Derek backed up while recording graffiti on the wall, his camera pointed high. He didn't notice the open elevator shaft behind him.
at 9:22,
He stepped backward and vanished into the dark shaft. His friends screamed and ran to the edge. His flashlight beam spiraled down as he fell 11 stories. The sound of impact echoed through the hollow building. They called 911 immediately. Firefighters arrived
at 9:40,
and lowered a team into the shaft.
at 9:50,
They recovered Derek's body. His camera was shattered beside him.
Vanishes in forest.
September 14, 2021. Hokkaido, Japan.
at 4 p.m.,
Akira Traillives Sato, 28, began a solo hike into the dense forests of Hokkaido. He streamed the trip live, showing packed gear and telling his audience he would camp overnight.
by 6:30,
He was deep in the woods, walking beside a fast-flowing river. His chat warned him about the fading light, but he kept going.
at 6:45,
His viewers heard a sudden slip and curse. The stream blurred wildly, then turned black. The feed continued, broadcasting silence and the faint sound of rushing water, until the phone battery died hours later. Search teams combed the forest for 3 days. They found his backpack, tripod, and broken flashlight on the riverbank, but no trace of his body.
Parachute.
April 8, 2012. Phoenix, Arizona.
at 2 p.m.,
Brian Prankfly Lopez, a 24-year-old YouTuber, boarded a small plane with friends for a skydiving stunt. He told viewers he would prank everyone by jumping with only a reserved chute.
at 2:18,
From 13,000 feet, he leapt into open sky. He free fell calmly at first, then pulled the reserve at 2,000 feet. The parachute tangled instantly, spinning him in circles. His helmet camera captured frantic pulling on the cords, the ground rushing closer.
at 2:21,
He hit a desert field at full speed. Friends landed nearby and sprinted to him, shouting for help. Paramedics arrived at
2:25,
They declared him dead on impact.
Challenge videos.
February 28, 2015. London, UK.
at 9 p.m.,
Sam Crazy Challenges Reed, a 19-year-old YouTuber, gathered friends in his backyard to film a fire run. He poured fuel on his shirt, laughing nervously at the camera. At 9:05, he lit a match and instantly ignited. Flames engulfed his body. He screamed and stumbled while friends tried to smother the fire with blankets. Neighbors called emergency services after hearing the commotion. Paramedics arrived at
9:15,
Sam had suffered burns over most of his body. He was rushed to the hospital, but doctors couldn't save him. He died the next morning from severe injuries.
River challenge.
August 30th, 2020. Manila, Philippines.
at 4:30 p.m.,
Miguel River King Santos, 22, attempted to swim across a swollen river for a challenge video. Rain upstream made the current violent, but he told viewers, "I'll make it."
At 4:35,
Halfway across, he began to struggle. His friends on shore shouted for him to turn back.
at 4:37,
He vanished beneath the water. His camera, mounted to his chest, showed only swirling mud before cutting out. Rescue divers searched until nightfall.
at 7 p.m.,
They recovered his body 2 kilometers downstream.
Bridge jumper.
June 2nd, 2011. Sydney, Australia.
at 5 p.m.,
Tom Extreme Clips Bailey, 26, climbed a bridge with a GoPro strapped on. He planned to jump 40 meters into a river below, claiming it would be a perfect dive.
at 5:05,
He leapt. The crowd on the bank cheered, until he hit rocks hidden just under the water. His camera recorded the impact before shutting off. Onlookers screamed. Rescue boats reached him by
5:20,
He had suffered massive trauma and was pronounced dead immediately.
Crushed by rock.
October 5th, 2014. Ankara, Turkey.
at 11 a.m.,
Ali K. Prank Dimmer, 24, entered a cave system with friends, joking that he'd trigger a cave-in for laughs. They crawled into a narrow passage, filming the stunt.
at 11:22,
A slab of rock shifted overhead. The ceiling collapsed without warning. A boulder, weighing hundreds of kilograms, pinned him to the ground. His friends screamed and tried to dig, but they couldn't move it. Rescue teams arrived at
2 p.m.,
By then, Ali had already died from crushing injuries. His friends were treated for shock.